Hi, we're here today with Alicia Hart, an author and faculty member at the VCU Autism Center for Excellence. Hi, Alicia.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Alicia, can you give me a general overview of autism spectrum disorder?
Well, in its broadest sense, autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder, and it's pervasive, so it affects pretty much every aspect of life. For most individuals with ASD, though, we see there's going to be some sort of challenge with communication ability. It can be anywhere from not having any communication at all to having very literal, concrete language that you might see in someone with Asperger's syndrome. We also see various abilities with social experiences. So we might find someone who has just maybe a little bit of trouble making friends, and we might have someone who really doesn't understand any of the unwritten rules to life or any of the social expectations that we have in just day-to-day life. We also see a lot of problems with sensory regulation and understanding sensory input. And finally, we see a lot of individuals, display trouble with intense needs for routines, not being very flexible in that sense, or having intense interests that can run the gamut from trains to brains to video games to just about anything.
What are some of the common barriers to medical care for persons with ASD?
Well, if you think about all of those major characteristics of autism, whether it's communication ability or social ability or some of the behavioral challenges, you can see right off the bat that how do you communicate with your doctor if you don't have language? How do you communicate with your doctor if you do have language, but you're very literal and you're very concrete in your language? So how would you convey information about how you feel on the inside? How would you be able to explain that you have a headache or how that headache feels to you? Especially if you have problems with sensory regulation or understanding that sensory input. Think about the behavioral challenges of somebody who is very routine oriented. And most of us don't go to the doctor every day. So it's something out of the ordinary, it's out of our normal schedule. And so already, right off the bat, the individual with ASD doesn't really have the same access to medical care as everyone else does because of those three major barriers. And so when we think about that, we know from a very early age that this person is not probably going to receive the same quality of medical care as a peer at the same age.
Can you talk with me about what are some of the most common comorbid conditions for children with ASD?
Right off the bat, we know that individuals with ASD are more prone to epilepsy. There are also issues with insomnia, with GI disorders, running a wide range of issues. We know that individuals with ASD are going to have problems with vitamin and mineral deficiencies, mostly because of their limited dietary intake. Most of them have a favorite food, and that's the only food that they eat. They don't eat the Dole 5-a-day program. They're not eating their fruits and vegetables, and so they're really missing out on a lot of the vitamins and minerals that most of us just get from a regular diet. Those are the most common things, but we might also see things like type 1 diabetes. The main point of all of this is that an individual with ASD is just like anyone else. They're going to get sick. They're going to get, they're going to need medical care at some point. And we can't just say because this individual has ASD that they don't get anything else in life. It doesn't work that way. And so in order for this individual to get quality medical care, we have to realize that they are like everyone else, and that we need to be looking for all of the common things that happen to every other child in America. We have diabetes, we have asthma, we have allergies, we have headaches, we have all these things that we can't just rule out because we have a child with autism. And we need to be observing and watching and really keeping track of this child all the way through adulthood.